Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mock Sports Presents the Quaddie Poddy. Cashy, joined by Nick. How are you, mate?
I'm doing well, mate. Doing a lot better today after the last couple of weeks. I've edged my way back in the tip-off.
Yes, you have.
With a big Pericles blowout in
My
the
goodness
end.
gracious
I'm
me. I thought I
very
was
happy with
home. I was 30 points in front. Now I'm only 7 in front.
Yeah, I was very lucky that I tipped Pericles at $12 last week, and it went out to the 20s on the jump. So I got to keep that one. Very, very happy with that. And it comes down to this week.
Yeah, 3 races to really blow our way wide open.
Next week can be a bit of a chase for whoever's down, actually. I wouldn't say that this week. So next week, you can back a roughie and win.
It's a very good point. But a lot to discuss from that race. Last week. That from that race is probably the only thing to discuss from the 5 diamonds. Mock's 3 from 3 from the 5 diamonds. So let's go 4 from 4 next year. Champions Day is where all the action was. We'll start with the Champions Sprint. Gee, wasn't that a bit of a surprise? You know, you saw Bella Nipotina struggling to get there in the end. But as consistent as she is, she goes within 1 bob of the head for third. You know, Right to Party gets up there out of nowhere. No one really expected that. Barrack Wheel failed. Overpass didn't quite fail, but still wasn't in the finish. And then who else but J-Mac gets the elbows out and gets Sunshine in Paris over the line to beat what was, many people's hopes in Bella Nipotina. What a race.
Yeah, I know we spoke a lot about great runs this spring, and that's up there. So last 200 metres, he's gone almost diagonal across 2 horse lengths to go put Sunshine in Paris in the perfect spot and ran home perfectly, got the win. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, and that Champions Sprint, no matter who's in that race, surprises always seem to occur. Like I said, Nature Strip went down to Rockin' Horse in that race a couple of years ago. So it's not always a real clear-cut race despite it looking so on paper. And I know that it didn't pay a lot, so technically it wasn't a massive surprise, but it wasn't in our Quaddie numbers. I know a lot of people around only had it in the Quaddie because it was J-Mac, and a lot of people missed out because they didn't think Sunshine in Paris was going to be able to turn the tables on Bella Nipotina. And look what happened in the end. Bella now, don't think she's going on the plane over to Perth. So, Spell, do you think we see her again in the autumn?
Probably. She's aging like fine wine. I think they're just trying to get as much money out of her as they can, which is fair enough. She's racing really well, so autumn's got some money in there where she'll probably keep racing well, and then if it doesn't have a really good autumn, probably does spring one more time, and then if she doesn't continue, she probably finishes up there.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a run till fail sort of job with her. I think that's the best you can do with her. She's just so good. She's 50s plus starts into her career, and she's in the form of her life. You know, she's 0 from 11 now over the straight, but the majority of them have been close finishes anyway. So you can't really say she's not a straight horse, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her go down the straight at all and we just focus on those rich Sydney sprints. We move to the Champions Mile. What do we say? Stick him to the mile. We didn't see him going back to the mile this prep. We thought maybe Cox Plate would be the end of him and we'd see him again in autumn, but they popped back up into the Champions Mile and he proved again he's a 1,600-metre horse through and through. Mr. Brightside gets the money, gets the chockies, gets the win. He is back in a big way, and let's just keep him to the mile, guys. Let's stop fucking around at 2,000.
Yeah, 100%. He's a mile horse, and he's proved it there. Done well. What did he jump at? $5, which is pretty good. He won't be that much at a mile again, I assume. So Antino was impressive, I thought. Almost got there, only half a length off in the end.
Off to Hong Kong now, I think.
Yeah, that horse has come out of pretty much nowhere as well, really, in this spring. Has gone to a new level.
Always showed those signs of abilities, but no one was really thinking it was going to be flying over to Hong Kong anytime soon.
No. Fangirl, what do you think? You can't. I honestly think that's a bit of this spring has been a failure for Fangirl.
I think considering her lofty expectations, only having the one win, yes. Arguably, should she have won first up? Again, yes. She was only a whisker off Via Cecina. So maybe she should have had 2 wins, 2 Group 1s to her name. But She came up very short in that race, won the next one. King Charles didn't really work for her. And then this one again, less than half a length off it, but she didn't get the nose in front at the right time. So while all of her runs, apart from King Charles, were very strong runs, when you have that sort of horse that's used to either winning or losing by the bob of the head, to come out of it only with one win, probably a bit disappointing. But again, phenomenal run on the weekend. She's always going to be there or thereabouts. I think that's one of the things with Fangirl. The King Charles run was a bit of an anomaly in my mind. You don't often see her that far down the track. I thought she was going to get there in the end, but yeah, Mr. Brightside just gutsy, gets off the ground and just gets over the line. The other big thing coming out of that race, Pride of Jenny. What did we think was going to happen? Granted, it's very sad that she's bled and now retired, but what did we think was going to happen? She was gassed. She was never winning that race. When the change of tactics didn't work, she bombed out to last. Obviously, of course, pulled up with the bleeds, but it's just such a shame.
Yeah, bad way for the horse to go out. Didn't deserve it. Should have ended at the end of the Cox Plate. I think would have gone off into the sun as wow, what a horse, what it did. Changed the game.
Could have maybe even gone around again for another autumn, another spring.
Yeah, we never know. But right call in the end to retire it where it is, but one too many, I say.
It's just, like I said, I said it on socials this week, like I could get as angry as I did last week, but I feel like
he was angry last week. We were yelling last week.
I was yelling, punters. I was yelling, and I was very annoyed, let's just say, in the aftermath when it came out that she was going to retire and that she'd bled, and I was saying some very choice words in the group chats. But as I said on socials, eventually when I calmed myself, I could get angry, I could yell, but it's just one of those things where it is just such a shame. And we just got to be able to commend her on the career that she had. She made the last 12 months of racing extremely interesting, because you never knew what was going to happen in a race with her in it. You didn't know if they were going to be able to catch her. You didn't know if she was going to get out to 15 lengths or if she was only going to lead by a couple. It made races that she was in a complete anomaly, and I spent genuinely the longest time I'd ever looked at individual races when she was in it, because you just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it was really weird that you'd almost have to have a horse in the race giving their race up to stop her from winning.
In the end, you needed that sacrificial lamb that could have gone to her, tried their best to hold on.
Maybe not the Cox Plate. She probably wasn't at her best, but that Major Bill run, Major Bill took itself out of the race because it got pushed forward to stop Pride of Jenny winning in the end.
Because that was the only way you were going to be able to beat her. Try and hang with her. And I don't think there would be any horse in Australia that probably could. Major Bill. Very similar tactics to Pride of Jenny, as it was known. It's a leader that only likes to lead. So they thought, you know what? Let's try and lead with it and go as fast as she can. And, of course, took the sit pretty quickly because they realized there is no way we're going at this pace for this whole race. And then in the end, that sort of exposed, you pester her a little bit, you try and drag her back. That's how you're going to get her. But you just need to be able to maybe take that sit a little bit quicker instead of trying to go neck and neck with her, a la, the Prognosis of the world that just sat on her tail instead of trying to go up around her and try and actually take her one-on-one. But yeah, it's just such a shame. But hopefully she lives a very long, happy life in the paddock now, and we can go a few months without hearing Tony Otterbray's voice. I'm sure Kieran Maher will be happy to get somewhat of a break from him. Because from all reports, there wasn't a lot of negotiations going on in the tactics of that horse. It was mainly up to the owner, but we can only say allegedly. No one really knows what goes on behind closed doors. And then the last thing to touch on Champions Day, Via Sistina. She is just that good. Jogged past them again. That Cox Plate run did not bust her. She made it look easy. A Tissue, in my opinion, was always going to come second, so I'm glad I got up for those place points. And we backed the trifecta in case Without a Fight ran out of his skin for a year off, and he was phenomenal as well. But she's the best horse in Australia. Do you think she's the best horse in the world?
I don't really have an opinion on overseas racing, really. I don't watch a lot of it, and I guess you can say she is. I don't know. She's definitely the best horse in Australia at the moment.
Oh, bar none, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess you can go on and say that, but I couldn't tell you a thing about anything overseas.
Guess you just got to wait and see until if she does go over to Hong Kong to see if she is the best horse in the world. Because if she wins over there, I reckon you'd go close to be able to. If she beats Romantic Warrior, surely you can start to say up there with best in the world. I know on time ratings it says that she's the best in the world, but I'm a big, you got to beat them to prove that you're the best. You can run times, and they say times don't lie. But look, Amelia's Jewels, times lied like a bastard. So times do lie. Don't believe anyone when they say times don't lie. And then, yeah, Without a Fight, fantastic. He's off to Hong Kong now, and I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, look good. Look good off the year off. Yeah, it's going to be real tough. So can't wait to see that battle over there.
Yeah, it's shaping up like quite a battle of all of the Hong Kong races. It's going to be one of the first times I tune in. I tuned in for the first time last year because Dubai Honor went over there, and I wanted to see how that played out. And then now with a few more Aussies going over there, usually Aussies have to wait until like Royal Ascot week to see some Aussie flags being flown. But now that we've got a few actually heading over there, it's going to be quite good viewing. All right, mate. Is there anything else really to touch on from the last week?
Vaughan comes over.
Of course.
Vaughan stays in Australia, does not go back to Ireland.
Yeah, so Mullins said we're taking him back. He's probably going to become a full-time hurdler now. Then all of a sudden, reports come out, Gay's bought him. So apparently he's been bought for 7 figures by Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. A bunch of owners have all thrown in their different share amounts, and he's staying now apparently.
I like that, but I don't know if Gay's the right trainer for Vaughan. I could be wrong.
Everyone's saying it should have been Kieran Maher.
Well, I'm sure he probably had his feet dipped in it at some point as well. So who knows? But I think it's the right call to give the horse a crack and see if it can acclimatise a bit better to be here for 12 months. Race on the tracks, get a bit used to it. Might run better in a Melbourne Cup. You never know. Might go and become a hurdler next year.
Go to Warrnambool.
They'll never know. So
you know, it'll be very interesting to see if that horse can acclimatise and run to his best. Watch out, and it's just exciting. I think Australian racing is getting more and more exciting with the more internationals that we keep purchasing to keep here. The better we're getting because we can breed sprinters. Don't worry about that. But when it comes to our middle distance and our stayers, things are only going to get more exciting if we keep relying on purchasing from over there and bringing them over. The Without a Fights, the VS16s of the world, you know, some of the best horses that have come through Australia in the last few years have been those internationals that we've purchased. So I really want someone to buy Lazat and bring Lazat over.
Yeah, Lazat was good. But yeah, Vaughan's going to be interesting because we don't really have many long races for Vaughan to really race in.
That's a good point.
It's really going to be just a setup for the Melbourne Cup, set up in a paddock pretty much all year. So it's ready to go and it's not traveling that much.
Are we going to see him over the mile? Because
that's what I'm curious about. I think we will in preparation to the Melbourne Cup as a bit of a fitness run, but who knows? They might bring him out in autumn and all of a sudden he's running at the 2,000 meters at the 1,800. Who knows?
It'll be very interesting. And even then, is Gay going to turn him into a leader?
Yeah.
Vaughan charging around the turn 5 lengths in front. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. So do you want to head to the hotline, mate?
Yeah, we're getting the hotline. Good stuff.
Alrighty. Let's have a look here. John Snitzel is our first one here.
Yeah, g'day. Only one acceptance I have for Vauban to stay in Australia if it gets trained by Kieran Maher, and that's it.
There you go.
If not, he should be kicked off our shores and go back to hurdle jumping.
Oh my goodness.
It's fair enough. Everyone has said send him to Kieran Maher because he's got stables out in the country and he's got hill tracks that they can train him on and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, Gay's Gay. Like if she's going to get anything out of the horse, she'll get it out of the horse.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I would like even a Waller, Annabelle Nation is like where I look at, but Gay would have been the one that I least expected to want to get this horse, but obviously she has her connections and that's probably how she got it. Like it's probably the only reason that this horse is staying is because she probably has connections with Mullins or whatever it is, or somehow she's been in the game a long time. She knows a lot of people. But yeah, I think everyone's just a bit surprised with that. But who knows? She could turn this into a champion.
It's going to be a very interesting 12 months with that horse, that's for sure. We go to shower bets.
Hey, boys. Shower bets here. Currently still in Bali. As you can probably slightly hear, the water pressure fucking sucks, but I'm still in the shower. Got a few bets for you boys. Sorry about being inconsistent last few weeks. I don't know what's up with me.
Give us a winner, mate.
Fucking shit up. Golden State Warrior. Omen in the first. Vale. All right. Now we have Sigaflix. I think it's good each way. Blackberry Bomb, $21. Good each way chance. And I think another will gets it done in the grid one. Cheers, boys. Have a good weekend. Shower bets out.
Good luck to you, my friend. Shower bets.
No barley belly for you, shower bets. No barley belly for you.
Close your mouth very tightly in that shower, mate. And Lockie Howard to finish us off.
Hey, boys, after watching the weekend races, well, probably the last 2 weeks, because it's about Steffi Magnetica, it's probably unlucky not to win Golden Eagle. And then run a solid fourth, where it had a little bit of trouble getting some clear running in the Champions Mile. And it was very, very close to Fangirl and Tino bit off Brightside. And we know it can sprint really well as well. So what if you're Bjorn Baker, what do you do with her? Because she can do the mile, she can do the sprint. So, yeah, I think that's a bit of a problem. A good problem to have, but a problem that he does have.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I try and find some good races in between, maybe. I think that 1500 was better than the 1600, and that a bit shorter. But I don't know. It's good. That's a good. I haven't really thought about it.
I don't really think she is a sprinter. Actually, I think she can sprint fresh, but she looks for more almost immediately.
1400, 1500 meter horse. You see, like Espiona was a bit of a 1500 meter horse. You get some of them that are just really good at that distance, and I think, and like the 1600 just stretches out a little bit, but I think the 1500 will be perfect. So if Bjorn can try and get some races in at that distance with some good prize money. I don't know off the top of my head what comes through in autumn, but with the 1500, you got any off the top of your head?
The Coolmore, I believe, is a 1500 meter race.
Yeah.
Look, I think this will piss a lot of people off, and I hope it doesn't, because I like the horse. I want it to see it do well, but I would not be shocked one bit if this is our next Ice Bath or our next Hinged, who's just like that perennial non-winner, who she's always like there or thereabouts, but just doesn't quite get the chockies.
Yeah, I don't know if I think this horse is better than Ice Bath.
I'm not saying that she is better. I think she is better than Ice Bath. I think she'll probably is better than Hinged, but like these horses come along and they find themselves in these races where they just run into one better,
like Fangirl,
or two better. Yeah, like Fangirl actually was for the first half of her career. She had about 12 months of free air there, and now it's happening to her again. I just think that Steffi's going to keep finding herself in those races where there's one or two better, and she'll keep coming third, or she'll keep coming second. Hope it doesn't. I hope she gets a lot of wins because it's a great horse, but I would not be surprised if we see her become the next Ice Bath, the next Hinged, even the next Espiona, that one that just pops up for a few wins here and there, but mainly is that forever running second or third.
Fair enough.
All right, take us to listener questions, mate.
Listener questions. Let me get it up. I saw a couple of them already. I had a quick look. When will you shave your head? Because the 7 Stakes is not a major race. From Edwin Gow, 123.
I'm not shaving my head. The 7 Stakes counts. The 7 Stakes counted last year. It counts this year. It's $1 million. It might not be a big race. It's not a big Group 1, but Volandis wants it to become a big race. He made it a feature race of the day for a reason. It's worth $1 million. If it's in the tip-off, it counts.
That sounds like a scripted answer. Will you fellas bet the Magic Millions next year? Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
At this point in time, it's looking more unlikely than likely, but we also said that this time last year. Who knows?
Nah.
But I would be surprised if we end up there this year. Maybe 2026, one of those things maybe every couple of years. I'm more focused for traveling on racing, going down to Melbourne a few more times next year rather than heading up to Queensland if we're going anywhere for racing.
Honestly, it's Ryan Miles. I doubt we'll be at the Magic Millions. Judd Taylor, Bjorn Baker told me Osmosis is shooting blanks in the yard. Don't cry, Cashy.
Oh, if anything, I'm happy to hear that. If he's having fertility problems like militarized, chop his nuts off and bring him back to me. Get him back to the races, because that's what did him under in the end. His dick kept getting in the way. He had too big of a dick. So if we get it chopped off and he comes back, who knows what can happen?
I'm shocked for words there. Benny O'Brien, is Brightside the best horse at the mile right now or ever?
Not ever. Wash
ever.
your mouth out with soap. Winks exists, and Very Elegant exists, and quite a few other horses exist. But yes, I would think going
at
around
the moment, yeah.
At the moment, Vestina probably.
I think Vestina at her best.
At her best, she'll beat him. But yeah, she's a 2,000 horse. She's a middle distance horse. He's an out and out miler. So if you're looking for horses that are mile specialists, yes.
If you had to give a horse a distance, Brightside at the 1,600 is 100% true, because Via would go to the 2,000.
Yeah,
that's the way to put it.
1,600 meter horses, I think Fangirl, Brightside, Jewel, and a couple others. Brightside's definitely the best of
Alligator Blood.
Yeah, Blood. Yeah, great point.
Sam Mirza, any tips for the Hunter? Obviously, we'll get through that in a minute. Damon Windley, Coleman by 3 lengths, winner, Wednesday declaration. Awesome. And Riley Pearson, who was the 8th best horse this spring? Do you want to try and work that out?
That is so niche. All right, let's count them down. So Via's 1, Bella's 2.
Bella.
I don't know if he's 3rd, but Chia Wolf's in the top 8, so we'll go Chia Wolf. Geez.
I'd say Switzerland could be up there.
Switzerland will go in there. That's 4. What are some other ones that could be possibly up there? Oh, that's a great question. Just trying to think. Other horses that could fit into those other spots. You stumped me. Does Brightside go in there?
Yeah, Brightside. That's 5. Brightside. Did we already put Brightside?
No.
Brightside's in there for sure.
Brightside's in there. Does Antino go in there?
Close. I think another Will could be close.
I think Antino could be close for number 8, or another Will could be close for number 8. I can't say Autumn Glow goes in there because we didn't get to see her win that Group 1, even though she probably would be in there if we saw that happen. That's tough. I can't.
Keep going.
8's so niche. Can't say Gear Kick's in there. Can't say that Jolly Star's in there.
Will Pride of Jenny get in there still?
No, she only won 1 race, and that was the Fan, and that was a 4-horse race. Buckaroo goes in there for sure.
Broadside get in there.
Off the Golden Rose, and then hasn't played. He came 3rd in the Cox Plate.
I put Broadside in the top 8 horses in the country.
All right, then that's broadsiding. So then another Will or Antino on that.
Or Jimmy Star.
Or a number of them. That's
good question. We'll go Antino.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I don't know what people think of that.
I reckon Antino, Jimmy Star, another Will, a Tissue.
A Tissue's not. No, a Tissue.
No, a Tissue. Yeah, that's a good question.
Good question.
All right. Let's go to it. Newcastle. Obviously, Sydney Carnival's done, but thanks to Peter Volandis, we go around to the regionals for a couple of weeks here. Newcastle is first on the ballot.
I'll be in Newcastle this weekend.
You go on the races, bro?
I don't think we are going to the races. I know it got brought up. I'm on a footy trip, lads, so if you're in Newcastle, come say hello. But I think we will be doing a bit more. We were thinking about going, but honestly, I just didn't want to go.
More guzzling 10,000 litres of alcohol?
I said I'd rather go to the pub and just watch it than go to Newcastle. And yeah, that's just me personally. Plus, I just didn't want to take my suit up to Newcastle. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day. The card's a bit thin away from the Hunter, so don't be surprised if we rattle through these very quickly. The track's currently a soft 6 with a bit of showers around tomorrow and Friday as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we are soft 6, soft 5, but it drains very well up there at Newcastle, so I can't imagine it getting past soft 6 or soft 5. If the rain doesn't come, it'll probably be a good 4. Rails in the true position as well. Race 1, we've got the 900-metre Max Lees Classic for the 2-year-olds. It's an interesting race, mate. As always, this race, you don't often see a golden slipper winner come out of here, but you do often see the winner actually go on to do something. Last 3 runners were Russian Conquest, who you lost a lot of money on, but did win quite a few races. Cylinder, of course, went on to come second in a golden slipper. And then Erno's Cube last year, which again has popped its head up for quite a few wins and run very good in group company. So if this whoever wins this race, watch it going forward. It might pop up and win you a bit of money if you follow it. I'm going to go the local chance here, the Newcastle trained out of the Chris Lee stable, Gobi Desert, out of the same sire as Broadsiding, Too Darn Hot, same sire as Too Darn Lizzie, same sire as Too Darn Discreet, and a bunch of other horses that have Too Darn in its name. On fire as a sire, so I'm sure that it's been bred to win here. It's also assisted to a Group 1 winning horse, so could be a nice early type here. It's a dartboard race, as always, with these 2-year-olds, and they've never started at the races. So $8 to win, $2.30 for Gobi Desert for me.
Secret Glory for me, but I will have a little each way play on Minx written, the $51, $9.75. Think overs. I think should have been starting at probably like the $25, $30 mark, but I think it's a bit overs. I think can get it done in a 2-year-old unraced race. So, but I think Secret Glory will be my main play on this race at $6. So very nice, tough one to start, punters. So yeah, race number 2. I'm a lot more confident in this one at 1600 benchmark 72. I don't think a lot of people will be too surprised who I'm going here. I'm going Piraeus, second place for me last start in the Kosciuszko.
Nope, 4 Pillars.
4 Pillars. Sorry, got that one wrong. Wrong race day. 4 Pillars, $4 to win. Should do well. Only lost by literally the nose last time. So yeah.
Talk about horses that lost by a nose on 4 Pillars Day, or Golden Eagle Day as it's more commonly known as, in the last race. Magna Eta, or Magna Tear, however you say it, failed by a nose behind Battleton in benchmark 78 company, where he, I respect that form, drops class here, doesn't get too much of a weight penalty because of it. $8 to win, $2.40. Magna Tear for me in the second tier. As we go to race 3, the Highway.
Dartboard.
Look, we're getting into proper dartboard territory here. Spring country horses are hard enough, let alone the summer country horses that are starting to creep their way in. So I'm going with the $34 chance here, an Our Orator. Raced well first up, then the next start in a Little Dance, where he just got outclassed, plain and simple, and was probably a good example, a good case study of why big stables shouldn't have horses in that race, considering it was designed for country horses. Why do we have Kieran Maher and Chris Waller runners running around in that race? Argue that what you will, but I mean, was only 8 lengths off them in that one. Only missed the placings once, went in soft territory, so if we do get a bit of a sticky surface, he'll love that. The barrier is the only knock, worth $5 each way, $34 to win, $7.25.
Yeah, I like Best of Ma here, $18, $4.30 for a place, so it's not too bad for me. Yeah, Best of Ma, it's a bit of a roughie, but Highway there, that is literally a dartboard. Will not be punting on that at all. 1600 benchmark 78. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple. Favorite here is Too Good. Bullet's Eye, second place last start behind Battleton, who we rate very, very highly, as you'll hear a bit later in the Quaddie. So yeah, keep it pretty simple.
Yeah, I'm on him as well. Got the exact same form as Magna Tear. They had the exact same race, finished the exact same distance away from him. Came through this extra 100 meters, hopefully runs on down the outside and gets the job done. We move on to race 5 here, the 1400 meter benchmark 78. Tough race, as is most of the card. I'm just going to go with the favorite again here. Pippy Beach should have won last start, but was beaten by a perfect ride on Electrica, again on Golden Eagle Day. I'm on a lot of horses that ran on Golden Eagle Day. Finds an easy field here, only jumps up a kilo and arguably gets an upgrade with Nash jumping on. I think she'll be very, very hard to beat here at the current price of $2.50.
I'm going Terrastar here, $9, $2.40. If you're giving its last run at the 1600, back down to the 1400, which I think a lot better, coming behind French Endeavour last time at the distance, coming second. So looking a bit nicer, gets a bit of a better price after that run that we're forgiving. So yeah, going to race number 6 here, 1850, benchmark 88. Townsend, I was on it a couple of weeks ago, only just lost. It was one of my bad days, to be honest, but I thought this one was going to get me home. $8, $2.50. Yeah, doing really nice.
Yeah, we don't get the $16 odds that we almost got last time, but I'm with you again. Maybe it's the jump in the distance is the reason why he's still at each way odds, because I'm shocked off that last run. That first up run was phenomenal. I don't know why he's at each way odds here. Only gets fitness off that as well, should dictate the pace of the race. Yeah, Townsend for me as well. As we go to race 7, 1600-meter spring stakes, I'm surprised our boy Pilko hasn't called into the show to give us some mail, but I do know he very much so rates its chances here. Draws a barrier for once as well. Gets barrier 1, not 21 this time, or 22, 23, 24, wherever it was, out and whoop in the 4 pillars. But my goodness me, to run 4th in the 4 pillars by not much of a margin, by less than a length, phenomenal. Gets Karen McAvoy as well, who was on it the last time this horse won a race, I believe. Yes, Karen McAvoy. Yeah, $3.70. It's good to see Pilko have a favourite in a Group 3 race here. Give him strength. Let's get him over the line. Alabama State.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And we'll skip race 8. Got to race number 9, mate.
The 2300-meter Beaufort here. Take your pick, really. Anything can win this, and I mean anything. Dionysus for me.
The quaddie killer this race.
Yeah, big quaddie killer. It's a horse that's going to stay all day, so you know it's going to get the distance. Nash on, big tick. Will not mind the wet deck. It's Kiwi. They're used to it over there. I believe it's had 17 starts on the wet deck. I know for only 1 win, but, you know, they handle the wet. That's what you need to know. Also handles the dry. So if the rain doesn't come, it'll handle it. Kiwi upset for me in the Beaufort here at $12 to win $3.40 to place each way.
Awesome, mate. I'm going with Nicko Spur here. I think that's how you say it. $9, $2.70. Second place last start up in Queensland, actually, coming down to Newcastle for this week. $9 is a good price for me to have. Been racing pretty well. Yeah, let's give it a go here.
Lovely stuff. Take us to the last of the day, mate.
Last of the day, 1300, benchmark 94 to end us here. And it's another tough one, I think. I'm on inhibitions here, $10, $3.20 for a place. Last start at the 1250, did pretty well behind Briasa, who we'll talk about in a minute. And that's great form to go off, in my opinion. So inhibitions, $10, $3.40. Awesome.
Back to the Iron Man well here for me. Arguably could have won his last 2 starts. I've been sucked in again here on the quick backup. Bad Barry is the only knock. Hopefully sits amongst the pack and just sticks his head in front at the right time this time instead of coming second by a short margin. $5.50, $2.20 to place. Also going to have a cheeky $5 each way play on Zoology because my import addiction is getting out of hand, Nick. It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an absolute sickness. He's at 100 to 1 here. I can't let him go around without a couple of bucks on at least because, look, his first run wasn't great, but he showed enough ability to suck me into the second run. And that second run, forgive. Bombed to the start by a massive way. Was never in the race. Didn't really ask him for much. So it's a complete forgive. So that's obviously why he's at 100 to 1 here because of that horrific run last start, but it wasn't his fault. Missed the start. So if he jumps clean, does he maybe show a bit more ability? And if he gets over the line here at 100 to 1 and I'm not on him, I will forever hate myself. So only a couple bucks each way there, but my main play is Iron Man in the last.
I just want to ask, I know we talk about we like the 1 week backup. What do you like? Do you like the 1 week backup for the 3rd week in a row or 2nd week in a row? So that Iron Man ran on Eagle Day, did the 7-day backup last week, and now he's doing the 7-day backup again. How do you feel about that going twice around? That's personally why I didn't go on him again, as well as the barrier. I think he's been racing really well, but I'm not too sure how he'll go with the 2nd week in a row of the 7-day backup.
Yeah, it is a concern. You're 100%
I'm
right.
happy to be wrong because at least you'll be on it and we do have a joint account, so we have money on it, so I don't mind.
I always love the 1 week backup. The 1 week back up doesn't happen as often, but they clearly think he has a chance here. He gets in well at the weights. He's only carrying 52 after carrying 57 and 58.5 in the last couple of weeks. So I feel like maybe this race wasn't on the agenda originally, but they've seen this one. They've chucked his name in the nominations. They've got in well at the weights. They've gotten Schiller to be able to jump back on after he was on Golden Eagle Day. They had to get Molly Burke last start, but now we've got Tyler Schiller back on. They haven't drawn the barrier that they probably wanted, but I don't mind it here. I think it'll be the last time I'm on him. If he runs down the track, I'll have to stick off with him. Maybe because I'm just such a idiot. If he runs a close second again, I'll go him again. But hopefully he's just got that residual fitness from those backups and can just get his nose in front when the time counts.
Cool. Fair enough. All right, we'll go to the tip-off.
Yes, mate, the great spring tip-off. I was up by 30 points, as we discussed earlier, and now I'm only 7 points in front of you. For those of you who haven't been playing along, punters, the loser has to sit in McDonald's for 24 hours. Every burger consumed will remove 1 hour off the time. My goodness me.
We might tweak the rules a little bit soon in terms of different burgers might be different because hamburgers, I don't know if they count as an hour.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We're going to do the rules and have a look.
But it'll definitely be somewhere around the lines of one patty equals an hour.
We'll work it out. We'll work it out. We're not going to put the fine lines in just yet.
One thing you do know is that no one's going to be sitting there and eating 24 hamburgers because you're right.
Yeah.
That's not as hard
as it might be you can only have 4 of each burger.
Yes.
Etc.
Yes.
Whatever it is, all right? We'll work it out.
We're not cowards. We're not sitting there and just chowing down on some hamburgers.
Well, I won't be there, so I don't have to worry about it. I've already come back, and I know what I have to do today. Okay. So, in saying that, we'll take it to the Hunter, 1,300 meters, the main race over in Newcastle. I'll take it away here, mate. I'm liking this field. I think your favourite looks all right. Briasa, who we did talk about just before. But I like Private Eye, man. I don't understand how Private Eye is at $7.50, finishing less than 2 lengths off in an Everest. Now coming against
the class horse of the race.
Now coming against these horses who are a step below easily. I know it carries probably an extra couple of kilos because it is the top horse, but I don't see this horse finishing outside the top 3.
I don't blame you. The only knocks are the weight and the barrier. Other than that, he's almost bulletproof, you'd think, class-wise.
100% versatile on any of the track surfaces that it can race on. I've got no worry as to how the track will hold up. I think Private Eye is the most versatile one in this. Can do it on all types of track. I just am very confused at why it's $7.50. I understand the barrier, but still, Bella Nipotina, Everest, worst barrier, won without much, won very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you think, mate?
Look, call me a coward. I'm going the straight bat here, but it's with reason because this horse has just risen through the ranks incredibly. Are we getting think about it vibes here? I hope so because he has just been absolutely beating up left, right, and centre on the midweeks. He went to Saturday one time, I believe it was. It was a Saturday. No. He's been to Saturday a couple times. He's had for 1 win and then 1 4th place. Very narrow there in the Silver Eagle. Where he arguably could have won. Held up just a little bit. But, yeah. And he also had a bad barrier that day. But we come here. Draws barrier 11. But, has some pace to overcome that. To be able to find a spot amongst the midfield and then hopefully just explode down the straight late. Yeah, it just 53 kilos as well compared to some of these other horses that I would think he's just as good as, and they're carrying, 54s, 56s. I think Browse is better than a Far Too Easy, but Far Too Easy's got 56.5. You know what I mean? So I think he's a worthy favourite. Obviously, this is the test to see if he can actually hang with these guys, but I think he comes out and wins. So he's a favourite. No prizes in finding him, but I just think he wins. Briasa.
Awesome. We'll run over to Caulfield. We'll take the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, mates. because we'll leave the 1,000 guineas for last, as it is our big one to talk about.
9, the
Race
Sir
9
Rupert
at
Clark
Caulfield.
Stakes. Used to be at the start of the spring, now is at the end of the last couple of years once they rejigged the spring carnival there. Great field. Absolutely phenomenal field. You got Southport Tycoon, Tuvalu, Another Will, Gentleman Roy, Climbing Star, Jimmy Star, Kamochi, Buffalo River, Charmstone, Crosseyor, Roll on High, Run Harry One, Stapati, War Machine, and Bitter Creek. Honestly, I don't think any of these could win without me going, yeah, makes sense. Okay, apart from maybe Crosseyor, but now that I've said that, it's probably going to win. Even Buffalo River at $46, I think, is way over the odds because that horse just, you never know what he's going to do. He's definitely going to be a trifecta killer. Put him in your trifectas because he'll be up there. But yeah, how are you seeing this race, mate?
Very similar to the last 1,400 meter Flemington race between Jimmy Star and Another Will. I think that's the Quinella punters. Put it on. I think Stapati will be just thereabouts again. So I'd definitely include that into your top 3. It could be the exact same top 3 in the end. But I'm going with Another Will. Just look classy. Does it again here. Jamie Carr on board. Has looked faultless apart from that one run where it came against Antino, who was absolutely on one. Probably didn't race to its best, Another Will, but bounced back really well the other week. 1,400 meters is his distance. So Another Will for me.
Look, I looked through this field and I almost convinced myself to get on Buffalo River now that I mentioned it earlier. I almost got on Komochi. I almost got on Tuvalu as well. Just such a classy field here, but I've actually settled on Southport Tycoon in the new colours as well, because turns out he's going to start at the end of the spring. So this is probably actually his last start. He can go out with a win here and he can bump up his breeding price a bit. And so he's now in the Breeders' Silks instead of his old Syndicate Silks. But $9 to win and $2.60 to place for a horse that really hasn't put in a bad showing almost all career, let alone all prep. Yes, was 4 lengths off of Jolly Star first up, but he didn't really get a chance to get into the race. Came out and won the sprint race at Moonee Valley the very next start. Then comes third to Overpass in a Sydney Stakes again. And then wasn't a bad run. Very next run, finishes 3.2 lengths off the finish on the Golden Eagle. And we know how good Lake Forest and Lazat turned out to be. And to do that from barrier 15 was phenomenal. So I think comes back to a track he's a bit more familiar with. He's run it at 3 times. He's come second twice there. Comes back to a distance he's a bit more familiar with. Again, 3 times ago. Comes second a couple times. And Mark Zara gets to go back on board here. 13th barrier, the only knock, but I think he's going to be able to find a little bit of a slipstream, storm on home late, and hopefully can get over the line here. I'm even just looking for a place here because Another Will's paying $3.50. If it wins, you'll get about 5 points. I'll take 2.6 points if we get the placing here. Maybe it'll even drift out like Pericles and get me even more. But yeah, Southport Tycoon for me and the Rupert Clark.
Awesome, mate. We move to the 1,000 guineas, 1,600 meter. That is the race of the day down in Caulfield. Alina is your favourite, $3.40. J-Mac on board, who can absolutely ride anyone at the moment. He's gone crazy. Who got and why?
Too darn Lizzie. No, I had to get away from her. And if she wins now at that price, I'm going to cry. I've been on it every start of its career. But just, if it wasn't in this field, I'd probably get around her. But considering a couple of these gave her windburn last start, I can't see her turning those tables. She might run a third. She might run a second. And I'll be putting her in trifectas just in case. But I feel like a couple of them have her measure, like your Z-Tongues. And then like another horse that I'm going to talk about here by the name of Lovely Cut. Been super without winning, in my opinion. Last 2 starts has been overlooked by the market to currently be at $11 to win, $3.30 to place. It's been super strong, like I said, without winning. Last start was that race at Flemington where, you know, Z-Tongue came flying home and got the chockies very impressively. But who was less than 2 lengths off it? Lovely Cut. Who was 4 wide the trip, no cover the whole way? Lovely Cut. So for it to stick on that well in that race, I was really impressed by it. And the fact that Damien Lane has stuck here, he probably could have had his pick of the rides other than J-Mac. And the fact that he said, no, this is my horse, I think that's a good sign. Lovely cut for me in the 1,000 guineas.
I'm playing the straight bat here. Alina, $3.40 was too impressive last start. We tipped it on our double stream that we did, our first double stream for the horse racing, which was so much fun. Looked too good and will be too good again here, $3.40. This will be my first couple of points to bring back, and then another will might get me over the edge, I think.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
And then I think Private Eye gets the place, and if you miss out on all of them, I'll be in front. That's what I'm thinking.
It's going to come down to the wire if that's the case. But this is such an interesting race. Dominator can win. Double Market's one that we've been on for 2 wins, and we've had to jump off here at $19. If she wins, we'll be looking silly, but she's definitely a chance. Superlicious might look like a place better's dream, looking at that form. Stage and Screen as well, a talented horse. Just about anything can win here. It's a very open race. I think Waller's going for 3 straight here, so you might even get it with Alina. I'm very much so looking forward to it because the 1,000 guineas winners usually like to come back a little bit well. Like Jolly Star, we've seen in the last year come back well. Madden Pomeroy the year before, not so much, but usually they're there or thereabouts. So I like to see finally when all of these girls get to go head to head and see which one's the best of the 3-year-olds, and then hopefully they can stick on instead of just going straight off to breeding. Before we go to the Quaddie Matter, I just want to say, if anyone's still listening, please head to wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, share, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and a review. It only helps us get bigger. We've gotten massive this spring. We want to keep getting bigger to be able to bring content to you guys. So if you're listening right now, before you get this Quaddie, just hit the 5-star button. It'll really, really help us. And on that, mate, actually, because I skipped it because I don't actually have anything. Do you have anything at Caulfield?
Yeah, I got a couple. I think Coleman wins. I know a listener said that earlier. Race 4, $2.50 at the moment, Coleman. Race number 5, Ferrari as well, $3.30. And then Aaron Bay, race 8 at Caulfield. Ran really well on Cup Day. Got the win. $6 here. Should do well. That's for me around the gun.
I'll go Sans Doot in the last as well. I can't let that run around without me. At $9 to win, $2.30 to place Sans Doot in the last. So let's go to the Quaddie now. We'll do Newcastle first. Race 7 is Alabama State, the 300 Altoff and Tataka, and the numbers are, Nick?
1, 2, 3, 7.
We got Private Eye, Far Too Easy, Royal Merchant, and Briasa in the Hunter.
1, 4, 5, 14.
We got Nick Our Spur, Genosis, Wycliffe Naval College in the Beaufort.
3, 4, 5, 8.
And then in the last, we've got Iron Man, Battleton, Inhibitions, and Amur.
7, 9, 13, 16.
All right, $50 gets you 19.5%, and we're going to Caulfield to try and snag a Quaddie at 1,000 guineas day as well. Race 7, in the 1,000 guineas, we've gone Alina, Zaytung, Dominator, and Lovely Cut.
2, 4, 6, 10.
Race 8, we're going Aran Bay, New York Hurricane, Keats, and Dublin Journal.
1, 5, 8, 12.
In the Rupert Clark, we've gone Jimmy Star, Another Will, Southport Tycoon, and War Machine.
1, 4, 7, 14.
Sorry. That's a typo.
Stapati,
not War Machine. That would be Jimmy Star, Another Will, Southport Tycoon, and Stapati for 1, 4, 7, 14. And then race 10, we've got Neance, Sans Doot, Extra Toot, and Miss Rumbini.
2, 4, 5, 9.
$50 gets you 19.5%. And Nick, anywhere around the country, if it's in Melbourne, Newcastle, Brisbane, Ascot, Adelaide, if you're having one bet, who is it on online?
I think it's Ferrari for me. Race number 5 at Caulfield. Coming back. Probably didn't race really, really well last night at Flemington. I think we'll do a lot better. Did really good in Sydney. Won really nicely. I think this comes against a little bit less challenging field. Should do well. Ferrari, best of the day for me.
Lovely. Race 4, Newcastle, Bullets High, $2.80. I just really like the way that it ran last start. Almost knocked off a good horse in Battleton. Really strong through the line. Gets that extra 100 meters now, hopefully. Gets the chockies. It's a short price at $2.80, but I think it just wins over there at Newcastle. So that's my best around the country.
Awesome. Cheers, guys, for listening.
Quick shout out to the
well.
sponsors. Dabble, Code Mock Sports. If you're signing up, when you use that code, and then you'll be able to follow us. Every single bet, all of our exotics, all of our multis, all of our plays on the NBA. NBA is getting in full swing, and we're winning a lot of money. win with us, guys. Code Mock Sports, but set a deposit limit when you go there and gamble responsibly as always. And then Stridyl, as we've been saying, we've been teasing it imminently, guys. That's going to come out. We're teaching you how to buy a horse with Stridyl. They make racehorse ownership easy, and you're going to see exactly how you can get involved and buy your very own horse, just like we did. And we've got a couple of Group 1 winners ready to go. Fingers crossed. But yeah, mate, anything else?
Best of luck. If you're heading down the track, go have fun. Yeah, good luck. All the best. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week for the season finale episode of the Quaddie Poddy.
That's it. All right. See you guys.